Hi, my name is Michelle, also affectionately known as Landlord and Stilettos, and this is my first official YouTube video. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you want to follow me on my journey. I'm going to share a little bit with you about my background, my interests, my passion, and the mission for my channel, so stay tuned. Passions are inspiring people and sharing information, and that was the genesis behind why I even created my Instagram account in the first place, Landlord and Stilettos. So I created that Instagram account in 2019, and there were a lot of reasons, why I wanted to get on Instagram and not necessarily YouTube. I'll share that in another video. But hindsight is 2020, and I really look back and I wonder if I should have started my journey on YouTube versus Instagram. But nonetheless, here I am. When I started that account, it was really just about sharing information about how to buy your first investment property. So I purchased my first investment property when I was 23. And back then it seemed like such a huge deal because I was stressed out about having this mortgage in my name. I was young, I was single, I didn't know anything about real estate, but I knew that I needed to do something different because I did not want to be so reliant on one source of income. So when I started my Instagram account, it was really just about sharing information about how to invest, how to save. I would do different challenges like no spin challenges, how to use credit cards, just all types of content that I felt people could use in order to buy their first investment property. But in terms of my background, I grew up in the pharmaceutical industry. So 23 years in the pharmaceutical industry. I started out in the field as a sales rep, and then I took a position in corporate. So the majority of my background in pharma is half sales and then also half training, facilitation, L&D, and then I took on some different roles around like account management, consulting, blah, blah, blah. But aside from my career in pharma, I've always been obsessed with different ways to make money because I hated relying on one source of income. So I know everybody's preaching about and talking about multiple streams of income. The term is probably becoming cliche at this point, but it is so important, right? Like I didn't want to just have one paycheck coming in, and my paycheck was always really good, but I still was just uncomfortable with relying solely on my W-2 income. So the first way that I was able to kind of get out of that mindset was through real estate. So I knew, okay, I definitely want to invest in real estate, and that's going to be one stream of income. And then once I started doing that, I figured there had to be a way to marry the passions that I have, which revolve around writing and speaking and making money. So when I don't think I was in my 30s, early 30s, maybe super late 20s, I don't remember the exact age, I wrote a book. I self-published the book. I wrote the book. I published the book. I promoted the book. And that book took me so many places. It opened up just doors that I couldn't imagine, like speaking engagements at colleges and universities. I was on television. I was able to model some clothes for this fashion boutique at the time. I met tons of other authors that were doing the same thing, and my life just changed. Now, keep in mind, I wrote this book and I'm out here and I'm living this double life. I'm being an author on the weekends. I'm doing book signings. I'm going to fancy affairs. And then during the week, I was working my traditional corporate 9-to-5 job, which was amazing. But I started to burn the candle at both ends, and I was exhausted and I needed to make a decision. Was I going to continue down this path of following my dreams, which at the time was, being an author and being a public speaker and just really making an impact? Or was I also going to follow my other dream of, and actually a lot of it had to do with my parents too. My parents were excited about any path that I took, but my mother especially, she loved the corporate path for me. I think for her, she always envisioned me as the CEO of somebody's, pharmaceutical company, which that wasn't ever really my goal or a dream of mine, but I always did everything according to what society told me to do. You go to college, you get good grades, you come out of college, you get a nice high paying job, you work said job, you get a house and whatever that pathway is. So I was at this crossroads now where I'm like, okay, do I continue being like this author and living this like fabulous dream life, or do I go and, put on my stilettos with my nice little sheath corporate dress and take the corporate route? And I decided to take the corporate route. I think fear actually got the best of me. I just felt like, you know what? This is what I went to college for. I have so much invested in my career at this point. And I knew that it would be really challenging for me to do both. So I decided to go that route, and I got promoted and I got different opportunities, and it was great. I was very happy. But in the back of my mind, I always felt like I could be doing so much more. Like, Michelle, there's so much more to you than just this job title. But at the time, I had kind of shut everything down. I wasn't doing my book anymore. I wasn't doing any more speaking engagements. And then in 2019, I went through some personal things that actually prompted me to do something different. And maybe I'll share some of those things in another video just to keep you motivated to stay on my journey with me. But I went through some personal things in my personal life, and I don't know, I kind of just had this awakening where I was like, you're not using the full set of skills that you have been blessed with. Like, you need to be doing something else. And at the time, I was mindlessly scrolling through Instagram like everyone else. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just start an Instagram account, and I'm going to share like my thoughts around women and investing and following your dreams and mindset. Like, I'm really big on mindset and manifestation. And I wanted to document that journey. So if you actually go on my Instagram account, you'll see like I started my page with I started from 0 all the way up. And I think like when I show it, it says like 38 followers or 36 followers. And they were like all my closest friends, all my girlfriends, my sorors, like they were like, okay, we're going to follow you. And then from there, it kind of just took off. It was slow growth, but I did not give up. Like, I was doing this thing every single day. Like, I was so insistent on not giving up. That is a quality and a trait about myself that I will say I won't give up until I give up. So what happened was I was doing well with Instagram, and then I was like, you know what? There's other ways for me to make income. So I had my corporate job, which was great. I had my real estate, which was great. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start to write books. Let me write some books. I wrote some ebooks. I created a membership group. I started to, use digital products in a way that not only would help people, but also that, would help supplement my income. And then I had this epiphany that, if I wasn't going to do it at that time, meaning do it, quit my job, like go full blown entrepreneur, like no W-2 income, I was never going to do it. And I was very scared for a myriad of reasons. Like, I have a daughter, obviously, like that's my number one priority. I liked making 6 figures from my W-2 income. Who doesn't? And I have always liked marrying the two. So I know a lot of times people will say, oh, quit your job, just quit your job and go follow your dreams. But it's like, y'all must not have no bills, because my bills dictate otherwise, right? So I had to be very thoughtful and strategic about how I was going to do that. So while I was building my Instagram account and I was creating these digital products and I was creating my membership group, I was making sure that I would have enough that would, supplement my lifestyle. And then one day I pulled the plug and I quit. And it was great. I was living life. I was being an entrepreneur. I literally felt like I was in my element at that time. And so switch gears now. This is when COVID, came into our lives, and it was perfect because I thought, oh my goodness, you know, everything's gonna, every week we're gonna be home. But it was great because I was home anyway, and I had my camera, I had my tripod, I had my Instagram account that was growing so beautifully, and I was still able to leverage the skills from what I learned in pharma, not only in my online business, but I decided to start my own training company and kind of just be like a freelancer and a contractor. So I was still doing training, and I loved doing that. I don't think there's ever a part of me that's ever not going to want to train and facilitate. It's just something that I definitely have a passion for, but there are other things that I want to do along with that. So that's a little bit about my journey. I'm going to take a pause there because there is a part 2 to that story. I'm going to share it in another video. But just know that talking to you and starting this channel, it definitely was something I was thinking about for a very long time, but I had a huge fear of YouTube. Instagram is one thing, right? Like you can put up a post and it's like text. I used to hide behind my posts all the time. I did not show my face on Instagram for a very long time. As a matter of fact, my growth on Instagram had stalled, and someone said to me, you need to come on camera. Like people need to see who you are. People need to hear your voice. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I don't want to go on camera. But like, this is the world that we live in now. So I started to come on camera, and I hated it. I would do Instagram lives. I didn't like doing lives, but I never minded training and facilitation and doing workshops. And I think a piece of that had to do with, like, you know, you're on your computer, you have your screen, you have your talking points. Like it was just a very polished presentation, as opposed to like getting in front of camera right now, like just freestyling it. That was uncomfortable for me. And even today, if you knew the setup that I had to go through just to get this one video, you would be so proud of me. Like you would be giving me a round of applause. You know what? I think I'm gonna show y'all my bloopers. I have bloopers. I'm going to show them because I do feel like when I watch people's journeys and they show like the mistakes that they made, like that's what makes them so relatable. So I'm going to show y'all some of my bloopers. But that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about my background. And now I want to share with you my goals for this channel and my mission for this channel and why you should hit the subscribe button. You can't be a landlord without owning some real estate, so we'll focus on real estate, how to get your first investment property, landlording 101, tips, tricks, and so much more. We'll definitely talk about business, how to keep a side hustle, how to save, how to invest, just different ways to keep money in our pocket and multiple streams of income. And last but not least, personal empowerment. I'm all about mindset and manifestation and keeping your vibration high. So I'll have lots of content around that. So ways that you can get in touch with me, definitely subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can check out my website, landlordandstilettos.com, and then also on Instagram, Landlord and Stilettos. I have a Facebook page, but I'm not really active on Facebook. It's just, I'm trying to keep up with all these different platforms. And for me right now, I think the best two that I can commit to being active on are Instagram and YouTube, and obviously my website. So definitely check me out there. If you made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm out of my element. I'm so excited for you to watch my growth. Like right now, I'm filming from my iPhone. I don't have any fancy equipment other than I have a really good lighting kit. So I think my lighting is pretty good. And I have a microphone because, not that I even need it because I'm very loud. But other than that, like I'm filming from my phone. Like I'm coming to you raw, you know, like I'm giving you the real. So stay tuned so you can see the journey and the come up because it's coming. And last but not least, I'm gonna show y'all some bloopers. Check it out. My dog had no faith in my abilities today, and that's okay because even he's gonna watch and he's gonna say, you know what, Mom, she did her thing. Okay, just give me a couple months. All right, thank you guys. Definitely hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Now I'm staring at the lower left-hand corner of the screen, the lower left-hand corner of the screen. And I'm gonna just pretend like this is my best friend. Like I'm gonna just be talking to you like we besties. I'm not gonna look at me because I wanna look at me, but I'm gonna look at you. Make sure this mic works. I have this external mic. So this is me far away. And it should be a very good difference in voice when I come super duper close like that. Please work with me today. Do you have faith in me that I can get this right? Just one blink. Hi everyone, my name is Michelle.